Some of the largest scars on Earth were created in seconds, not by nature, but by objects from space. These are 10 impact sites that changed the planet forever. Number 10. Barringer Crater in Arizona. Also known as Meteor Crater, this is one of the best preserved impact craters on Earth. It measures about 1 mile across and more than 500 feet deep. Standing at the rim, you look down into a vast bowl of rock that has remained largely unchanged for nearly 50,000 years. The impact happened when a metallic asteroid, about 160 feet wide, struck the desert at incredible speed. The collision released energy equal to several megatons of TNT, and the crater formed in just seconds. What makes Barringer unique is not its size, but how well it has been preserved. The dry desert climate has slowed erosion, keeping its shape almost intact. Because of this, scientists have studied this crater more than almost any other on Earth. In the 1960s, NASA even used this site to train Apollo astronauts. The terrain closely matched what they would later see on the surface of the Moon. Today, the crater is privately owned and open to visitors. You can stand at the edge and look directly into the impact site created thousands of years ago. It begins this list not because it is the largest, but because no other crater shows more clearly what happens when something from space strikes our planet. Number 9. The Bosumtwi Crater in Ghana, West Africa. This crater is different for one simple reason. It is filled with water. Lake Bosumtwi sits at its center and is one of the most studied impact lakes in the world. The crater itself is about 6 miles across and formed just over 1 million years ago. The impact was powerful enough to create something unusual: tektites. Small glass-like fragments formed when rock is melted and thrown into the air, then cools as it falls back to Earth. These fragments, known as Ivory Coast tektites, have been found across large parts of West Africa, confirming this crater as their source. But the story does not end there. Lake Bosumtwi also holds cultural significance. For the Ashanti people, it is considered a sacred place, a site where souls are believed to come to say farewell. Geologically, the lake is just as important. It has no natural outlet, which means everything that enters stays. Over time, layers of sediment have built up at the bottom, preserving a record of climate change spanning hundreds of thousands of years. Today, the lake measures about 5 miles across and reaches depths of nearly 250 feet. Scientists have drilled into these layers to study one of the most detailed climate records in Africa. A crater created in an instant by something from space now helps us understand the long history of Earth itself. Number 8. The Lonar Crater in Maharashtra, India. Lonar is one of the rarest impact craters on Earth. It did not form in typical rock. It formed in basalt, the same kind of volcanic rock that makes up much of the ocean floor. This makes it one of the very few confirmed impact craters of its kind anywhere in the world. The crater is about 1 mile across and formed tens of thousands of years ago. Like some other craters, it now contains a lake. But this lake is very different. Lonar Lake is both saline and alkaline at the same time, creating a highly unusual chemical environment. The water is divided into distinct zones with different conditions, and within it, scientists have discovered microorganisms that exist nowhere else on Earth. These life forms are now being studied for potential uses in medicine and environmental science. Around the crater, there are ancient temples that are hundreds of years old, a sign that people have lived near this site for a very long time, without fully understanding how it was created. Today, the crater is recognized as a protected geoheritage site and remains an active area of research. It is a place where something from space created an environment that now supports a rare form of life. Number 7. The Ries Crater in Bavaria, Germany. At first glance, it does not look like a crater. It looks like a normal landscape, but it is not. The town of Nördlingen sits entirely inside it. Thousands of people live their daily lives within a massive impact site about 15 miles across. The impact happened around 15 million years ago, during the Miocene period. The object that struck the Earth was likely about a mile wide. The collision was powerful enough to create a unique type of rock, swivite, a mixture of melted and fractured material fused together by the force of impact. This rock was later used to build parts of the town, including its cathedral, and inside those stones are tiny diamonds, formed under extreme pressure in the moment of impact. The Ries crater has another unusual feature. A second, smaller crater lies nearby, the Steinheim crater, located just a short distance away. Scientists believe both craters were created at the same time, possibly by fragments of a single object that broke apart before reaching Earth. Today, this region stands as a quiet landscape, but beneath it lies the evidence of a violent past, a city built inside a crater, constructed from the remains of the impact itself, with microscopic diamonds hidden in its walls. Few places on Earth carry a story like this. Number 6. The Manicouagan Crater in Quebec, Canada. This crater can be seen from space. It appears as a perfect ring in the wilderness, one of the most recognizable impact structures on Earth when viewed from orbit. The impact happened over 200 million years ago, near the end of the Triassic period. The object that struck the Earth was several miles wide. The original crater stretched for tens of miles. Over time, erosion changed its shape, but its most striking feature remains: a ring of water surrounding a raised center. This is now the Manicouagan Reservoir, formed when a dam flooded the outer ring of the crater. The island at the center marks the point where the ground rebounded after the impact, pushing rock upward in the seconds after collision. Some scientists have linked this impact to a period of species loss near the end of the Triassic era, though its exact role is still debated. From above, the view is unmistakable: a near-perfect circle carved into the Earth, a structure formed in an instant and shaped over millions of years. Today, it remains one of the oldest large craters still clearly visible, hidden deep in northern Quebec, a place where something from space left a mark that can still be seen from orbit. Number 5. The Acraman Crater in South Australia. This is a crater you cannot easily see. Time has erased its shape from the surface. What remains is not a visible hole, but a pattern in the rock, a circular structure stretching for more than 50 miles, along with a field of ejected material spread across vast distances. The impact happened over 500 million years ago, during the Ediacaran period, a time when complex life was just beginning to emerge on Earth. The object that struck the planet was likely several miles wide. The force of the collision scattered debris across what is now South Australia and into the Northern Territory. These fragments, known as ejecta, were buried and preserved in ancient seafloor layers. Today, scientists study these layers to understand the timing of events from that distant era. What makes Acraman especially important is its age. It formed during one of the most critical periods in Earth's history, when life was beginning to take shape in more complex forms. Much about that time is still unknown, but the evidence left behind by this impact helps fill in the gaps. A crater no longer visible in the landscape, but still recorded in the rocks, telling the story of a collision that happened hundreds of millions of years ago. Number 4. The Popigai Crater in Siberia, Russia. This crater lies in one of the most remote regions on Earth, far north, above the Arctic Circle. It stretches for roughly 60 miles, making it one of the largest impact craters ever confirmed. The impact happened around 35 million years ago, when a large object struck the surface with immense force, but what it left behind was unexpected. Under the extreme pressure of the collision, carbon in the ground was transformed into diamonds, not small amounts, but one of the largest diamond deposits ever discovered. These are not typical gemstones. They are microscopic and incredibly hard. Formed in an instant, under conditions that cannot easily be recreated, the deposit remains largely untouched, Hidden beneath the tundra in a region that is difficult to reach, the isolation has kept it preserved, a reminder of the power of a single impact, a crater in one of the coldest and most remote places on Earth, containing a resource created not over time, but in seconds. Number 3. The Chicxulub Crater beneath the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. This is the most consequential impact site in the history of life on Earth, not the largest, but the one that changed everything. The crater lies buried beneath the Gulf of Mexico and the northern edge of the Yucatan, stretching for more than 100 miles. The impact happened around 66 million years ago, at the boundary between the Cretaceous and Paleogene periods. The object that struck was several miles wide, moving at incredible speed. The energy released was almost unimaginable, tens of millions of megatons, far beyond anything humans have ever created. The collision triggered global fires, massive ocean waves, and sent vast amounts of debris into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight for months, possibly years. Plant life collapsed, food chains failed, and life on Earth was reshaped. Around 3/4 of all species went extinct, including the non-avian dinosaurs. The connection between this impact and the extinction event was first proposed by scientists Luis Alvarez and Walter Alvarez. Based on a thin layer of iridium found in rock around the world, at exactly this point in time, the crater itself cannot be seen at the surface. It is hidden beneath layers of rock, detected through gravity measurements, drilling data, and a pattern of sinkholes, known as cenotes, which trace the buried rim. What happened here millions of years ago ended one era of life on this planet and began another. Without this impact, the world we know today would likely not exist. Number 2. The Sudbury Basin in Ontario, Canada. This is one of the largest and oldest confirmed impact structures on Earth. The original crater was once vast, stretching for more than 100 miles. Over time, billions of years of geological activity compressed and reshaped it into the oval basin that exists today, now measuring roughly 30 miles by less than 20. The impact happened nearly 2 billion years ago, during the Precambrian era, when a massive object struck the Earth with extraordinary force. The collision reached deep into the planet's crust, bringing valuable metals toward the surface, including nickel and copper. Today, this region is one of the richest mining areas in the world, producing a significant share of global nickel. The city of Sudbury exists largely because of this impact, built on resources created in a single moment of destruction. But its importance goes beyond industry. Scientists study the rocks here to better understand conditions on early Earth and to model what impacts of this scale could do to other planets. An event from nearly 2 billion years ago now helps power modern technology. From electric vehicles to global infrastructure, Sudbury is a reminder that even catastrophic events can leave behind something that supports life far into the future. Number 1. The Vredefort Crater in the Free State of South Africa. This is the largest confirmed impact structure on Earth. The original crater was enormous, stretching close to 200 miles across. Over time, billions of years of erosion have reshaped it, but the structure that remains still spans more than 100 miles. The impact happened nearly 2 billion years ago, when an object several miles wide struck the planet with unimaginable force. The energy released was far greater than any other impact on this list. The collision was so intense that it changed the structure of the rock itself. In some areas, rock was melted by the friction of sudden movement, then cooled and solidified again, forming rare materials that can still be seen in the landscape today. At the center of the structure is the Vredefort Dome, the uplifted core of the impact, now recognized as a World Heritage Site. The effects of this impact went even further. It helped concentrate some of the richest gold deposits on Earth, resources that would later shape human history. Nearly 2 billion years ago, a rock the size of a mountain changed this planet. The scar it left is still visible. The materials it formed still shape industries today. There is no larger confirmed impact in Earth's history. Vredefort is number one, and it stands alone